I could join in the love fest here, but I want to point out to the members that fertility preservation organizations are adamantly opposed to Mr. Harris's amendment. And while this is not something that I have had an opportunity to talk about widely, many of you have met my twins, Rebecca and Jake, both of whom are the result of in vitro fertilization. And Dr. Harris is right. It isn't always an older person who has trouble conceiving. My husband and I had trouble conceiving when we began trying to have children when I was just 29 years old. We finally were able to conceive as a result of in vitro fertilization. And this, since the twins are 17, this was obviously during the time that Dr. Harris referred to when there was not as much advancement and there were more embryos produced, and cryopreservation was absolutely essential. The reason that fertility preservation organizations are opposed to this amendment so strongly is that the language in the amendment, while it seems benign, and certainly Dr. Harris's debate in support of the amendment seemed magnanimous, the language actually says that funds would be limited to funds to clinics would only be granted if such treatments do not result in the discarding or destruction of human embryos before embryo transfer. What it would essentially mean is that thawing frozen embryos would be prohibited. It would make IVF, especially if you don't have insurance coverage, nearly impossible because, unfortunately, even though we have had significant advancements in fertility preservation and helping women and couples conceive, it is still tens of thousands of dollars. And I will point out that every time a woman has to go through an IVF cycle, it is a minimum of $10,000. So yes, making sure that a woman does not have to constantly go redo that cycle of having hormones, and I can tell you from personal experience, it is not a fun process and there is a risk to it, but making sure that a woman does not have to repeatedly go through that process and can have an embryo thawed and inserted in her uterus with the hope that it will take and a pregnancy will occur is absolutely essential, and Dr. Harris's amendment is harmful and would prevent rather than help more couples conceive, and I urge its opposition.
Mr. Ted.
Thank you, Mr.